My name's Olivier, formerly known as C.Dupe. I'm a hip-hop artist out of Atlanta, Georgia, 23 years old. My music's more inspirational and transparent so I can connect to the crowd in a more personal way. When I first started doing music, it was, I was just really like trying to find myself and find who I was as a person first. So as an artist, I was just like a chameleon of sorts, like just branching off and doing what I felt like other people would want and not being my true self. And Olivier is actually my middle name. And when I was a child, I used to get teased for my middle name all the time. So I wouldn't tell anybody what my middle name was. Like even growing up as to an adult. So I figured I could use that to be more transparent and get people to embrace who they are and like embrace their insecurities and whatever they feel uncomfortable about. I started writing music because I'd always been passionate about music, but at first I was actually just writing stories. Because I was always passionate about books at first. That was my first love, was books, reading books and writing my own stories. So I used that to try to write stories over beats, and that's where I got more comfortable with like flows and things of that sort. So that's why I started getting more involved with writing music. Well, culture means who you are and where you're from. Like your experiences in life, like they define who you are and why you do what you do. So everybody has different cultures. Everybody reacts to different cultures a different way. And when all that comes together, it creates a melting pot of different people, different experiences, and it makes life as vibrant as it is. My culture is a big melting pot of different experiences, I would say. Like I went through a lot of like just trials and mental and spiritual trials, so I use that in my music to connect to my audience and make sure that they know how to handle their trials. I don't like comparing myself to people because that creates like a stigma, but my inspiration honestly was J. Cole, because I felt like my story related to his story and like what he went through, like trying to do his music thing. And as I got older and more mature, I started to branch off and get to more spiritual aspects of the music. So then I got more comfortable listening to Andy Mineo. And like his story kind of relates to my story because he was trying to find like some type of balance between like living his life and then trying to live out his faith. So that kind of molds my music as well. I love being an artist because it's my form of expression. I feel like I could like really be myself like on a track or on stage or whatever, or on a video, and I could really show people how I see the world and try to get them to see the world in a different light and not just see what's on the screen, but look beyond like what you hear on a song or whatever to try to see what the artist is actually telling you. Well, my goal is to actually be a philanthropist. So I want to use my artistry to give me that platform to build my brand and make enough money to provide scholarships and give money back to Haiti and things of that sort. My favorite song that I've written, there's actually two. One of them's Security and the other one's Pinky Promise, because like I said before with my writing, I used to write stories and stuff a lot. So I was really interested in like mystery stories and like trying to find out like who done it at the end. And with Pinky Promise, I was kind of able to convey that in starting the story at a really, I don't even know what the word to call it is. It's like a really rash state, like I was trying to get this girl to sleep with me or whatever. And at the end of that first verse, like she comes out and says like she's celibate. And now I have to try to convince her to still try to sleep with me, and she's trying to convince me to be celibate with her. So like throughout the entire story, like I'm conveying like my actual lifestyle in a creative and personal sense. Security is more about embracing your securities, embracing your insecurities and embracing your conscience, which is exactly what the entire project Welcome to Duperville is about. So it's basically telling like my story, like look into the mirror, tell me what you see. Is it who you've been or is it who you want to be? So embracing like all the flaws that make you who you are and making sure that you can work on those flaws progressively to try to build yourself. The project is basically my introduction to the world as an artist, and it's telling everybody like how I see the world. And what makes this project different is that I don't necessarily impose my beliefs or my values on people. like with the entire embrace your conscience, embrace your insecurities thing, I give you two sides of the coin and I let the audience decide what side they want to be on. So I put the power back in the audience's hands. A culture misfit is someone that goes against all the odds, goes against the grain with everything that they do. Like I know with me, like I don't like people doing the same thing that I'm doing in a sense. Like I don't like people wearing like the same clothes that I'm wearing, or like, I guess like conveying themselves the same way that I do. I feel like I'm a culture misfit because I'm allowing myself to become more vulnerable and open with all my music and just in person and in life. I'd like to be remembered for how much I gave back and how much I help people build themselves up and get over their insecurities or get over whatever trials they may be going through. I'd love to be touring and hopefully signed to some type of record label and have some promotion and backing behind me so I can continue building my brand, and probably some speaking engagements or something of that sort. You can follow me on Instagram at Olivier845, that's O-L-I-V-I-E-R 845, and YouTube at Mr. C.Dupe 845.
We've been getting to it for a minute, now it's time to get it. Got some issues that we need to address. Time to start a new trend, to stop following trends and get people to stop fiddling with trying to fit in. The new wave is to portray yourself as someone that you're really not. So what was supposed to be a melting pot isn't even hot. It's tough to be an individual and ain't nobody perfect. But don't be another person trying to be another person. Expand on your knowledge because they love to degrade you. So we, born to be wild and cultured by nature. We're meant to fit in, homie, that's what we came to prove. So sometimes you gotta break the rules so you can change the rules. Doing what the cool people do should make you cool it seems. But who really wants to be the star player on a losing team? Take it from me, it isn't worth the compromising and hiding your true colors makes it feel like you dying. Striving to be the same never made up a difference. So let's be that percentage that don't become a statistic. How they label and describe you don't define you, so decide you want to live a life that embodies what it's like to be a culture misfit. Understand?